Insert disc 2.
Sounds like
Well, I don't know what it is. So,
Moon Tunnel Festival. Well, surely you have some inclination. Hey,
well,
Michael.
what up, yo? So, to the best of my knowledge, because this is a Teresa joint, but you know, we've been to the Mothman Festival. We've been to the Fall Festival. Last week we went to the Festival of Fright.
Right, in Nitro.
That's right. So next week's the Moon Tunnel, which apparently is just a tunnel in Ohio, and the tunnel is haunted. You see, so there's going to be little ghost hunts. It's a festival.
Where in Ohio is it?
It's an hour outside of Point Pleasant.
Okay.
So it's somewhere between Point Pleasant and, say, Columbus. It's almost right in the middle.
Well, that sounds like Athens. It might be close to Athens. Athens is right
If
in
you
the middle
looked
of
up
Point Pleasant
Moon
and
Tunnel
Athens.
or whatever, which you could probably find it.
I'm looking it up right now.
I just don't. I looked up where it was last night. You know. So
Moon Tunnel midnight at
That's it.
Moonville, Ohio.
Moonville.
Okay. So you said this is Teresa's thing, but really you and Teresa, your interests pretty much overlap completely. Like everything.
That's how we met. We have very similar
Right.
interests. She has. I've kind of gotten out of the whole paranormal. She's still in it, but I still enjoy a good festival.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been here.
Where would you put? I know that the Fallsburg Fearplex is one of your top 3 least favorite experiences of your life, right?
Of my life,
Maybe not your life.
it
That
was
may be a
certainly.
slight exaggeration.
I did not have fun.
Now, compare and contrast that to your trip to the rodeo, which you have not discussed on this trip, on this show yet.
Well, the rodeo didn't get over. Did I tell you whether I had a good time or not at the rodeo? Have I
You sent
alluded to it?
you sent me a text and you said something like, "Things that I will never do again. Do anything with my family."
Yeah.
Number 2, do anything with my family at the rodeo.
The rodeo, we've had unseasonable warmth.
Yes.
All right.
Today was the first day it was under 50 degrees since May 1st.
There's been one other day that was just the worst. It was horrible. And that was the rodeo day. It was cold. It rained. It was horrible. And the rodeo was low end.
Which is, to me, that seems like a, redundant.
What do you mean?
Well, rodeo, you got a big ring of dirt, a fence, and an amphitheater around it. What more do you need?
Well, talented horsemen.
Oh, low rent in the talent terms. Okay.
A lot of people there were students.
Mhm.
They bring in riders from other parts of the country, but I'm guessing these weren't good parts of the country. They had to drive a long way, or maybe they rode their horses.
rodeo riders from upstate New York.
You've been to the Milton Wrestling Show.
Yes.
Okay, that is your lower tier wrestling.
Yes,
Okay.
I would say that, not knowing.
You see
as
a
much
lot
as
of
you.
wrestlers there that are learning, or were never good, or will never be good.
True.
All right, now, I'm not saying they're all screwed.
Yeah. And they're mostly, there's some local talent.
I would assume that the rodeo, what I went to, was like the equivalent of that. A very low end rodeo. I bet if you went to a rodeo and say like
San Antonio.
or like Dallas,
Right.
Reunion Arena, or something like that, it'd be an awesome rodeo.
So this was an outdoor event as well. Yeah, which didn't add to the fun. So tell me about the events that you saw at the rodeo.
I saw very little, for I was walking back and forth the quarter mile to get concessions for everyone, like a slave. It was the less said about this rodeo, the better. It was not fun. It was not good, and we got out of there right before the downpour. Oh, and I lost my keys on the way to the car,
Oh, wow.
which is funny because I unlocked the car with the keys.
But then sometime between then and the car.
When I got there, I wasn't paying attention, slung my keys down, and the key fell off the keychain.
Oh my gosh.
Why did that happen? You're asking. My son's sandals broke
Mm-hmm.
earlier in the night,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to repair these sandals with a shoelace, and I need to punch a hole in his sandal.
Oh yeah, use it as an awl sort of thing.
So I
Yeah.
used my key ring
Right.
to punch the hole, which
Right.
didn't
yeah.
work.
Oh.
I didn't fasten it back enough, and the key, but I found it. It was
That's a scary time, losing the
It's
keys.
no good. Those are expensive keys. Dude.
Let me ask you, with the pockets, you got the big three. You got the keys, the phone, and the wallet.
Mm-hmm.
Which of those three would you least like to lose?
The phone would be great suffering because of all the stuff in it, but you could stand that. My wallet's normally empty. So I would say probably those keys are expensive. Those car keys.
Oh yeah,
probably the keys. I'd say. What about
So
you?
would you go keys, phone, wallet in that order?
Wallet's got your IDs in it though, so it'd be key. Wallet's the hardest thing to replace. So probably I hate to say it, wallet first, strictly because of the IDs. Because especially I got a cop ID in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole rigmarole.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got your driver's license, your bank cards. So probably wallet number one. Plus, once somebody finds it and steals all your stuff,
Mm-hmm.
then keys, then phone.
Okay, I'm glad you've come to your senses because your first recounting.
Well, if you had a big flipping great wad of cash in your wallet,
but that's the thing. Just like you said, your wallet, losing your wallet has nothing to do with the cash that you lose in your wallet, unless you're putting a down payment on a house and you're on your way to the bank or something like that. It's all of your credit cards. It's your IDs for all the different places you need to get into. If you got a key card for work that you keep in there, like I do, that would be a disaster.
Yeah,
it would be a complete disaster. Number two for me, probably the keys, because again, I've got keys to stuff at school, like old file cabinets and stuff that I keep stuff in. There's no copies of these keys. Like somebody's gonna have to come bust these file cabinets open
the
for me.
Jimmy with a screwdriver or something. Yeah.
If I lost my phone, I would secretly rejoice because I'd have an excuse to buy a new phone. But because all of my stuff, there's nothing on my phone proper. Everything is stored in the
Do you
cloud.
have one of those insured phone gimmicks?
No,
I don't either.
no. My phone is very old and worth almost nothing at this point, which is a great place to be. It's like driving.
It's all like me.
It's like driving around an old car. Whatever happens, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So.
Till you get stranded somewhere in that sucker. I've driven around plenty of old cars and that broke down. It ain't okay.
When was the last time you broke down?
Well, I ran the truck off the interstate in a snowstorm. I guess that would count.
Was that the last year you had the truck?
Yeah. Because the Jeep, I just drive it up out of there.
Yeah.
But the truck was slightly mauled. So when I hit the side of the interstate. So, but
Did you ever break down pre-cell phone days?
Tons.
Tons.
I drove garbage. I drove garbage cars. My dad broke down one time, and he on the bridge into Charleston, the big one, on it.
Wow.
And I drove there to get him. And his cunning plan was he had a long chain, and he chained his car to my car and put me in the car. Didn't work, and pulled me off the interstate with his chain. And Dad's plan was to just go home. Have you ever driven the second car chained to a first car?
I have, but
That
never
sucks.
never on the interstate.
That
never
sucks.
on the interstate. Yeah,
Because you have to watch the brake or you're going to hit him.
right. Yeah,
Nerve-wracking.
I've driven along Route 60, from Hurricane to Route 60 when I had my very first car, an '82 Volvo, and my dad did the old chain. It must be a dad thing. Just throw the chain on there and let it go.
I'll tell you, one time old Chad's car broke down the interstate. Dad went out, got behind it, and pushed his car to the Hurricane exit.
Wow, it's hardcore.
Dad is out of his mind. He's completely.
He's a good guy you want on your team.
Yeah. We were just talking the other day. I don't know if I ever mentioned this on the show, but we were putting siding on the house when I was a kid. Dad had one of these. I think he had a Chevy Citation or something like that. So like my old one, and he took all the siding and put it on the roof, and it was wider than the car, and long as the car. And we took off. This is back when Lowe's was in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
And as we drove home, I go, Dad, something's wrong. And the ceiling started collapsing in.
Oh, my God.
And when we got home, you had this much less headspace.
Wow.
Permanently.
That's insane.
We were just talking about that the other day. Yeah, we did some stupid crap. You can't do that crap no more.
Well, yeah, you can, but you probably don't want
No.
to. You do. So everything's good though at your house these days. You got the new fence. You got the new HVAC system.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty much done with upgrades, right?
No. Are you ever done? And you're never done. I need a new bathroom and a new kitchen.
New
Both.
kitchen.
Well, yeah, I need a kitchen. That kitchen's been crap since the day I moved in.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not really going to put one in, though, are you?
I got to.
Why?
Cause, man, it is junky.
It is. I mean, it's not the best.
It's not even.
But
close
for the,
to the best.
I mean, for the amount,
the
because like,
cabinets in my kitchen, the previous owners found on the road. Okay.
yeah.
So does that give you anything?
What is you've got a room? Is it a closet beyond your kitchen?
There's a laundry square back there.
Laundry. Yeah, I knew there was something back. I've never ventured back there. I've always been
it's
slightly
a
afraid.
Washer
of that
and
area.
dryer box that's in the back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that new kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? You started pricing stuff out yet?
You need money. I don't have money.
You just home equity loan.
No, homie, don't play that. I'm not going down that road. I took a loan out to get the roof put on. I'm not there yet.
I understand.
What about you? What are you doing?
Well, you know,
just had this massive expenditure in the backyard.
We just got kind of a weird story. I was at my bank the other day and I saw my mortgage broker in there, and I thought I'd stop in and
Did you pound him?
have a chat. No, she's actually
No.
she's a nice lady.
No.
But I was like, my buddy Chad, he was telling me that he doesn't pay his property tax every year. It's automatically deducted from his mortgage payment. And I was like, how can I get on board with that? And
I was like that.
And she's like, you are on board with that. And I said, really? Because I write a check to Putnam County for over $1,000 a year, and I'm not seeing any of that back or anything. And she's like, well, you should be getting that back from the bank. And so I've faxed all of my statements. I went over to the courthouse and got all of my tax returns from my house tax.
Yeah.
And I've seen the bank has paid 2 out of the 6 years that I've been here. I've paid every single one check out of my pocket. So as long as everything works out according to my mortgage lender, I may be getting a nice little check of the money that I've taken out of my pocket. And I also didn't have to pay $1,400 when I went to the courthouse like I was planning on, because that's how much my personal property tax or my tax on my house is every year.
Not bad, man.
Yeah. So
Wish I could
it
see
might
that
be
action.
Windfall City here
Yeah.
in the Schaller household.
So God only knows what you can do with that windfall.
Oh,
back in the cryptocurrency market.
I'm just diving back
dump
in.
it all in.
Yep.
$5,000. Give me the.
It worked great the last time. I figure I'll do that, and then the rest of it just Warhammer miniatures.
I saw a thing today that said the cryptocurrency market, an expert says that it could collapse at any moment. I mean, I'm not lying.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
and I don't mean like certain currencies. I mean, I don't know how
The
it could
whole
all
thing.
happen. It's a big blanket.
because it's all based on nothing. Like, there's nothing to back any of this stuff up. So the minute that everybody stops believing in it, it's like Dumbo with the feather. It's just, that's it. So, yeah, crypto. Maybe now's the time to get in.
Look, get it on the ground floor.
Right.
And people start believing again.
Right.
Because what makes you believe more than a massive collapse?
An 80% precipitous fall since last year's
Now
December.
you're completely out.
I exited completely. I took about a 60% loss on what I took, but 60% is better than 80%.
If you believe that was a good number, you're okay.
Right. I'm all about I wanted that cash back, and I wanted it now.
You had a good time though. What for a little while?
For a little while. It was fun.
How far up were you before you went down?
I put in $1,000. At one point, I was 500 up, so I was 50% up.
Huge.
And then
That was soon after you put it in.
yeah, it was
wasn't
soon
it?
after I put in, and then and then I just fell off the cliff, and so I ended up getting about $400 back after the whole deal was over. But if I would have taken it out now, I'd only got about $100 back. So
This is completely off the subject, but I wanted to mention this. So I told you Teresa's dad is like a guy that works on tons of apartments.
oh yeah, he's a handy man.
And he came across an Xbox 360 a couple months ago and gave it to Luke.
right?
So those black ones. Is that the S?
Yeah,
E-
the S.
I don't know what they are.
It's the Xbox 360.
So anyways, I've had this thing, and I tried it out at work, and I've had it set, because I've got an Xbox 360, the old one. I had it sitting in the floor. So the other day I was like, hey, I was at the store looking at Xbox games while Luke looked at Switch stuff. And heck, they're blowing out Xbox 360 games. They're giving 4 for $10.
Right.
And I saw all these Kinect games. I was like, hey, wait a minute. I think I've got a Kinect. He found it in another apartment years ago.
Really? Okay.
I never hooked it up
Yeah.
because I didn't have the new Xbox. I knew you had to go through a bunch of rigmarole.
Right.
I didn't have any connectors. And I remember reading, I was like, the new ones, you can just plug it in.
Yeah.
So I picked up, I've never played with the Kinect, except maybe just a little brief time at Brent's once. So I picked up 4 games for it for like nothing.
Yeah.
Took them home last night, went out, dug through my arcade boxes until I found the Kinect, took it in, plugged it in. Right? It all came up. Now, it was my understanding that this was Microsoft's attempt to like Wii up the original
Sure.
Xbox.
Absolutely.
Right? So I had not heard stellar things about the Kinect.
Yeah.
And I had a Wii, and I love the Wii. Me
Sure.
and Luke played the hell out of this thing.
I love the Wii too.
So I hooked this thing up, and I bought this game, and I've never heard any of these games. The game I bought was this Kung Fu fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I don't remember the name. And so I put it in, and I was like, I'm going to try this thing out just to make sure the Kinect works. Because I didn't know what the hell it even did. It just sits there. It's a bar. And it laid there looking at the ceiling. I was like, maybe the motor's probably screwed up in this thing. Game came on, the thing, and it scanned the room. I'm like, man, this is trippy.
Yeah.
So then it says, there's a picture on the screen. It says, it's a picture of a guy. It says, go like this. So I went like this. He said, go like this. So I did a bunch of crazy poses.
The game's playing you.
The game, yeah, that's what it is. So the game comes on like a comic book, and it's got me in the comic, the little poses.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's okay. It says, okay, you're going to fight these guys. I'm like, okay, let's see how this works. So on the Wii, So guys are coming to the left and the right, and it's me on the screen, and I'm fighting and kicking it, and it's awesome.
Cool.
I was like, holy crap, where the hell did this come from? My kid's going to lose his mind over this. So my question to you is, were the gamers too hardcore to play with this stuff? Is this the best thing ever made for the Kinect? What do you know about the Kinect? Why was it so hated and reviled?
Well,
it seemed pretty cool.
I think that the Kinect came along late in the 360's life, relatively. Gamers had the reaction to it that gamers have about anything like this, where they're like immediately dismissive, saying they're just trying to copy the Wii and they never look at it again. I think that although like the experience that you described is cool,
Yeah.
I think much like a lot of the Wii software and VR software, once you get past that initial, hey, this is cool, I'm hitting stuff in real life and it's hitting stuff on the screen, you've kind of seen the whole deal.
I think for kids, I think my kid's going to lose his mind over this.
Sure.
And it has some advantages over the Wii, just from what I've seen. The biggest of which is you don't have to have a controller.
Right.
And the tracking's impressive.
I want to also mention one more fact that killed the Wii.
The Wii?
No, sorry, that killed the Kinect. You have to have, in order for the Kinect to fully do its thing, you have to have a pretty wide open space.
I played it in my room.
Well, I don't think...
And there's boxes in there.
Yeah, I don't think that, like, for a lot of the experiences, the Kinect was touting.
For 2 players, probably.
Yeah. That they say you have to have, almost like with the Oculus Rift or whatever, they say you have to have this ginormous space. And I remember people, like, because it launched in Japan, and they're like, you've got to have like a 20 by 30 foot thing, and then people are talking about like Japanese apartments or like shoeboxes. This thing's never going to work.
Well,
so, but I'm glad that you had a good time with it. I never brushed it off.
One of the things I picked up was Hulk Hogan's wrestling.
Oh,
I haven't tried it yet.
now these games just scream for a live stream.
They
scream for one.
Part of the reason I bought the couple I got was like, these look like garbage.
Yeah.
But the Kung Fu one's pretty. It's garbage, but it's not.
Right.
Not to mention, here I am on the screen doing backflips, and the best thing is you can beat these guys up, and you can just go like, and they're just like, oh, it's so funny, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how I could possibly rig that up, but it was. I can't wait to the kid. As soon as I finish the show, I'm going to go home and play it with him.
Yeah, well, your Kinect has got HDMI out. We've got an HDMI capture card right there, that gray box that's laying in front of you.
I've got one too.
Well, yours is kind of crap. It just records onto that SD card. Like you can't do
still
OBS
works.
with it. Listen.
We don't all got big windfalls of money
Hey, man.
falling over us.
I'm offering you the best things, the best stuff I've got. Speaking of which,
I should bring it down here, and then me and you should play it on your big screen.
We should do that.
Now that is a win.
That would be a hoot. We should definitely do that.